getting a lot of returns lately. Been getting a lot of buyers who just treat your items like garbage when they're sending it back, and just out of control. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about promoted listings. But before we get on to that, I want to welcome you guys back to the channel. This is John from Flippin' Ain't Easy. And for those of you who've never watched my videos before, I make these videos to bring various topics and subjects, eBay related, that I find on my everyday journey in this reselling world. And I bring it to you guys, and hopefully, I bring it to you guys, and you guys can leave your comments down below and share in this discussion. So I've been getting a lot of returns lately, and it goes with being a reseller, it goes with the business. It's part of the business, something that we have to tolerate, but it just seems like it's more than normal. Now, comment down below if you guys tend to agree, but the fact of the matter is it's already slow as far as sales are concerned, and then you have the returns, and then that's money that's taken immediately out of your funds. And I've had 2 returns already time out, and it's crazy because if these customers have no intention on sending back the return, all they got to do is cancel the return. We're talking they can get up to 30 days to return the item. They open the return. eBay then has them at least send the return back within 15 days. And that's just putting it in the mail and getting the tracking started. And they get another 5 business days beyond that if there's no tracking or no indication that the buyer is sending the item back. So your money's tied up approximately 50 days, give or take, depending on that last 5 business days where that falls. So it just makes you scratch your head that I've had 2 of these returns time out. Now, good thing is, after that 5th business day or the 50th day after that sale, that money is returned back to you. I really think that eBay should institute some kind of a program where if you have enough revenue generated on a monthly or quarterly basis, that they simply pull the funds from your account once you process the return. Why is there a need to hold back the funds? To me, it just doesn't make any sense, especially when it's clear that the buyer is not going to return the item and they have no intentions on returning the item. Maybe they opened a return hoping you would offer them a partial refund or some sort of shakedown tactic. What I really think eBay should do is develop a system that's based on the same kind of trust that they want from us when we first sign up for an account. When you first sign up for an account, you're going to get 100 listings, and only after your performance will they consider giving you more. And the same thing goes with managed payments. If you're a new seller and you sell a few items, you're not getting that money until that item has been delivered. As you grow your account, as you grow that trust, eBay then processes the money into your account, usually the day after you receive the funds. In my case, that's what happens. And that's only because I've developed a reputable account with eBay, and one that, I've never burned eBay. I've never burned my buyers. So I've developed that rapport with eBay where they can trust that I'm not going to take off and run. And I don't see why, when it comes to returns, eBay can't do something like that and develop something to that effect that will reward you for being a good seller on eBay, and maybe someone with a questionable track record. Let's say that person is below standard, they have a lot of problems with their account, maybe allow them to be treated like they're suspicious. But for the other 60, 70% of sellers out there that are doing everything right, I'm sure many of you guys are, I think we should be treated with a little bit more respect and trust, and that would you're dealing with still a lot of sour sellers out there who are still sour over managed payments. I get comments on my videos every day, people quitting, wanting to quit, all because of managed payments. And I just think that, eBay needs to do a better job of treating the majority of good sellers like we're good sellers, and stop treating the majority of good sellers like we could be someone who's possibly going to rip someone off. And that's just how I feel on that. And additionally, I keep getting returns from buyers where I take the time to package it up real nice because my item is going across country. I don't want it to arrive broken. I don't want to have to deal with that headache. Thankfully, 99.99% of the items that I ship arrive to the customer just as described, not damaged en route, because I take the time and the extra due diligence to ship that item so that it arrives the way it appears in the listing. So when a buyer opens a return, I'll usually follow up with an email or a message if they read it. And it'll say something to the effect of, I see that you've decided to open a return. I've approved the return label. Please utilize the return label through eBay. Please make sure that you return all the accessories, all the internal packaging, the outer box, if there is one, and please make sure that it is packaged in a similar fashion as we had sent it out to you. Now, there's some times where we have a larger box and it has maybe really good internal styrofoam packaging, and there's really not much more the customer needs to do than just put it back in that packaging and send it back. But I've noticed lately that sometimes that internal packaging is missing when you get it back. They just throw it in there, it's shaking and rattling around. Sometimes they just throw it in a random box. I just had a return today that I received, and this box thing was in brand new condition. Well, they put it in some kind of thing that they had to smash down a corner of the box to make it fit, and they totally smashed up the front part of this package of the product. And it's not, I can't go to anyone and say, hey, this is in excellent condition when it looks like garbage. I'm sure I'm not the only one. I mean, I told you guys a year ago how I received a return where someone put my item or the item they were returning in a diaper box that had what looked like feces all over the side of the box. And that's not a lie. Go back and check out my videos. I will put a link if I can figure out which one that was. But not only that, on the inside, they were nice enough to use the same bubble, the little bubbles that I used to ship it in for packaging. But that too also had what appeared to be feces on the bubble. Now I'm hoping it was a little, Jell-O instant pudding, but I kind of doubt that. When you put one and one together, you have the diaper box and you have what looks to be brown material. It is quite concerning. And so we had to get the gloves out. We had to carefully get that stuff thrown out. And thankfully, the item itself wasn't touching any of that. But of course, we had to put that thing through some sanitation because it was just gross. It was just absolutely disgusting. So guys, what do you think? Tell me, are you getting a lot of returns? And if so, are your returns coming back sort of how I described? How are you handling that? Are you utilizing the refund tool? I got to tell you, I am, because see, if the item doesn't come back in the same condition as what you sold it in, if it's missing parts, missing packaging, the packaging is destroyed, or no packaging at all, you guys aren't obligated to give a full refund when that happens. And you can utilize anything up to 50% off of the value of the item, or the end price of the item. I'm doing that. I don't lose any sleep when I'm doing that. The customer didn't lose any sleep when they just threw it in a box or just any way they seemed or deemed fit. And I don't really lose any sleep when I'm giving them a partial refund when I'm processing the return. And it's the only way, in my opinion, that customers are going to change their behaviors if they know that eBay has empowered us to take advantage of the refund tool and penalize these buyers anytime they decide to treat our items like absolute garbage. And it's time that that behavior stops. And I'm not the only one doing it. Hopefully you're utilizing the refund tool as well. And I encourage you to take a stand, because eBay doesn't care about you and they're not going to take a stand for you either. So you need to know that. So a couple weeks ago, before I went in and took Jenna's store and put it into my store, I embarked on a little trial that I went into about 350 items in my store, and I wanted to change my promoted listings, and I put every item in my store at the recommended rate plus 0.1%. It didn't do a whole lot for my sales. It did drive up my impressions quite a bit. And at the time, I didn't notice my sale had just ended. And I'm sure if I would have noticed that, it would have helped my sales. But, I was kind of focused on a lot of different things. And sometimes you just forget. I run my sales pretty much month to month, at the beginning of the month to the end of the month. And so anyway, in this case, I didn't set a sale at the beginning part of the month, but I did change all my items to the eBay recommended rate plus 0.1. So there's a tool, I believe it's in the marketing tab of your Seller Hub, that allows you to go in and say, I want to set all of my items to whatever eBay recommends for that particular category, and it fluctuates, plus 0.1. So fast forward to a couple days ago, my store is now I'm going on to about 600 right now. I've been really, really pressing the gas pedal, moved all the stuff from Jenna's store over to mine. And I'm going through and I'm doing a lot of editing and fixing listings and, going through my policies, my business policies. I had a ton of business policies, and anyone that uses InkFrog will know that your policies are just going to go from one page of policies to like 5 or 6. So I did some cleanup, and I'm going through, and I noticed that a lot of these items were either way over eBay's recommended promoted listing rates or way under. And what I'm noticing is, and have you noticed this, that these recommended rates for promoted listings are not the same. They change. Have you guys noticed that? And it almost kind of just seems like when eBay is recommending a particular number, a suggested promoted listings rate, it almost seems that they're kind of just guessing. Unless they're maybe using a trend or maybe trying to track the average rate, but I don't think so. I really doubt that some people or the average rates are over 10%. But yet eBay in some categories is recommending 11, 12% on my promoted listing rate. And so I'm going back to 1%. Now, I think it's always a smart idea to promote your listings, but I didn't notice a whole lot of increase in sales by utilizing eBay's recommended rates either. And those recommended rates changed anyway. And so I'm getting very suspicious about these so-called recommended rates for promoted listings when it just doesn't seem like those rates are stagnant. They should be pretty much at a set rate for a category. But I got to tell you, I've sold things that are very similar. Like I have a lot of toner that I've recently started selling again. And from one model to the next, it shouldn't matter. It's all within the toner category. Yet these items have different rates. Like eBay is asking me to set 5.6% for this one. And maybe I'll have in the same model number for that toner, but in a different color, it'll say it wants 7.2%. And so I set those rates. I go back a couple days and it's saying that 7.2% should be at 5.6 and that 5.6 should be at 7.2. I don't know what to say, but it just is all out of whack. And then don't even bother going into your items and changing your policies and things like that, because the moment you start messing with the listing, here comes the item specific bug, and it wants all kinds of item specifics that weren't there before. You set your listing, you put all your item specifics in there, and wham, you have to do more work. So just getting that off my chest. What do you guys think? These are some of the things that tend to slow me down. Some of these, whether you're dealing with a return, whether you're following up with eBay on just whatever it is, dealing with going back through your listings, making sure your titles, your photos, and everything's right, your policies in this case, and then come to find out they want you to do more work in adding item specifics and changing what they want for promoted listings. It's just a lot, eBay. If you're watching, you're asking the sellers to continually do a lot, and you're taking away time out of our day for us to be productive. Now, I do notice there's a lot of people who will just ignore that stuff and just keep moving on, but it makes me wonder if eBay puts it in our seller hub, in our summary page, that we have 200 listings that need item specifics, and we have other issues with our items. If we ignore that, are we being penalized in search? So I tend to give that some credence. So I do spend time to fix those things. And unfortunately, it takes me away from being as productive as I would like to be. I can get 20 listings done, 25 in a day. But with that extra time spent, I'm sure I can get 15 more, maybe 40 listings in a day. But, just the guy I am, something in the back of my mind says, you need to fix those item specifics. And so I do, I spend the time doing that. So what do you guys think? Leave your comments down below. While you're at it, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and of course, hit that notification bell so that when I go live, and I'll tell you now, I'm gonna go live on Sunday. I have not determined exactly what time I'm going to go live. I'm thinking about going live sometime Sunday afternoon, and I'm hopeful that I can kind of pinpoint a time. I haven't really decided yet. Keep an eye out on my channel. Hit that notification bell so you're notified. I want as many of you guys involved in this program. Bring your questions and answers, because that's the heart and soul of what these live shows are. And I love answering your questions. I try to answer your questions as often as I can. So please make sure you're there so you can participate in the show. So guys, I hope your return situation is a lot better than mine. And I certainly hope that you're not sidetracked like I have been. But either way, whether you have or haven't, just know that flipping ain't easy. And I will see you guys on Sunday. Have a great rest of your week.